And once again, hello, Victoria.
Hello again, Ed.
And let's see, is Anna there?
Here.
Good morning, Anna.
Wait, say that again. Is who here?
Anna.
No, Anna graduated, what, months ago?
I didn't know who Anna is.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm thinking of, who am I thinking of? Elena.
Oh, Elena. Yes, she's here. She's coming down the hall now.
Okay, good. All right, so.
Her brain rush. Like me girl yesterday? Yes. Brain rush.
Ed, when you get a chance, can you send Elena access to Brain Rush?
Sure. Can you check that, Rob? They were down this morning. Okay, so any other housekeeping things in California?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, great. So today we're going to continue with maps. The question of the day yesterday was what? The three people asked me. How do we do this? Street view, right. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to watch a short little video about inside view. I think it's called business view, something like that. So let's do that first, then we'll come back and proceed with the rest of the class. Mainly today we're going to work on populating our maps. But first let's watch the video on inside view or business view.
We're going to test the maps to get to the ones we did yesterday, right?
So this, I'm going to mute my microphone here. Okay. Are you done in California? Okay. So let me know when you're done. Hello? Okay, good. All right, so what did anybody get out of that? Hi.
We're done.
Okay, so what did everybody get, or what did anybody get out of that video? Victoria.
Victoria here, Victoria there.
Victoria there.
What I got out of it is people were showing the inside of their business and helping their customers know what they're going to be looking at before they get there. So they know whether or not they won't even go into the store.
Okay, good. So did you think it was cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
How
thought
about
it,
everyone else? Okay, anyone else there? Anybody think it was not cool?
You guys come this way and speak louder. Come on.
come on,
What
Brittany.
would be a business, what's a business that could not benefit from that?
Library?
Why you run away, Brittany? Say what you were going to say.
What business would not benefit?
The post office.
Aha, I was hoping somebody would say post office.
Library.
Do you think the post office would benefit?
No. No.
Why not?
All the
Why not?
supervisors create.
What?
They would see all the ugliness the supervisors create. And postmasters.
Okay,
Their personal vendor.
okay. One reason the post office would not be a good place for this is it's a monopoly. They don't have competition. If you want to send something, first class mail, that's really the only place to do it. Yeah, you could send a UPS package first class mail, but rational people really don't do that. Or FedEx. And the post office just isn't really set up to do that. But virtually every other business would benefit by letting people see what it looks like in there before they get there.
Well, the power company
Right.
wouldn't benefit from it either.
Okay, so let's say the power company, anybody that has a monopoly.
DOD, the same thing.
Unless you're looking for prices.
Hello, Angel. Yes, Mary. Well, a hospital could benefit if you're thinking of what hospital do I want to go to? Is it modern? How do I navigate? What does it look like when I walk in? The thing I hate doing is if I have to go to the hospital and I have an emergency, I don't want to have to figure out where do I go, type of thing. Or if I want to visit somebody, where's the visitors, the registration, or whatever it is. But, for most businesses that compete for customers, the more you can do to make a customer want to go there, the better it is. So inside view is a very cool thing, or business view, I think they called it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Mary.
When they do an inside view, how do they get, is somebody going there, film it, or how do they get the inside?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the
That's
next question.
You
How do you get that on your map?
They send a photographer to do it for you
Okay.
on Google.
So every business has to have a photographer go in there and.
So,
You call them up and they make an
Upload it.
appointment, they come in and they set it all up for you.
okay, as of right now,
Free.
So you could do that
that's
for-
how you do it. You do it through Google. Okay? And Google sends somebody out. But is that the only way to do it?
No,
Why not?
because you can upload it on your phone to the cloud or.
Okay, so the other thing that you can do that we'll look at today, or that I mentioned in the notes of today's thing, is you can attach a YouTube video in the description box. And we've seen some of the ones, if it's a restaurant, it has the Google stars, the rating. So you can click on that. It has the website, phone number, address. So you can have your own YouTube video in there also. I don't know why Google does it that way, but I think that's going to disappear in the future. So the idea for today, though, the question that we wanted to answer was, how do you get to Street View from your own custom map? Has anyone else figured that out? Okay.
Street view or
From your custom-
inside?
either one.
No, Street View.
Street view.
Yeah, there's a little icon on the bottom right corner, and there's a little guy, and you just click on it, and it'll show you Street View.
Okay, but is your map up?
Yeah.
You have your custom map up?
Oh, no, not my custom map.
Okay, so we're talking about doing this from your custom map.
That's where you're gonna wanna go from, is your custom map.
Okay, but Nick is right in the sense that if you don't see the little man, Peg Man, I think he's called, if you don't see him in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, guess what?
Only thing
You're going to be where we were yesterday. You're not going to get to Street View. If you don't see that little guy, you're not going to get to Street
Yeah,
View.
we still have plus and minus on our.
Lower right corner. Okay, so here.
It's not on the custom map. We just got the
Let's see.
plus and minus.
So I will share my screen. Okay, so here is my screen. So I just opened up maps. You notice there is no map, right?
Yeah.
There's no map, but down here in the lower right-hand corner, you see I have my cog, pegman, and then different ways to look at the map.
We don't have that on the custom.
Well, you're not on your custom maps. You just opened up maps. You just opened maps. I'm not on my custom map. There's nothing on here.
You just go to regular maps?
You just open up maps, correct.
Just go to regular. Okay. There it is.
Okay, go to regular view, not your
Okay, maps.
street view, not satellite view.
Okay, got it.
Okay, now the important thing is, once again, we are not in a custom map. We've just opened maps.
Okay, so the pegman's the little guy. You click
I
on
just
him.
Okay.
opened Google Maps,
Straight
and all that is there, but I also have all my
There's
custom
street
stuff
view.
up there as well.
Okay, all I'm saying is, don't have your custom map, and pegman should be there,
Yep, right there.
okay? If you're in a custom map, if you jumped into a custom map and you haven't done it a certain way,
Right.
pegman will go away. That's what happened yesterday. So the lesson learned from Google is, once again, they're always updating, always changing things, and some features are not as intuitive to get to once they make a change, or once they add something over here, maybe they haven't made it easy to do this other thing in the past. So what I want you to focus on is, up here, you want this to say My Custom Maps. You want this to be, you want this to say My Custom Map. Now I'm going to click out of it, or I'm going to click to just something, an address where it doesn't say My Custom Map.
Why you don't say custom map? You don't say it.
Okay, so in the normal map view,
Right, there's my street view.
in the normal map view, street view is there. If you jump into a map and you don't do it a certain way, pegman will disappear. If you put if your omnibox is blank and you put your pointer in there, your cursor in there, in a second or two, a thing will drop down that says My Custom Maps. See it up there?
Yeah.
See where it says My Custom Maps?
So we click on that?
Now you can go to your custom map.
So click on this, right?
Okay, now you can go, and then you'll have a drop down of all of the maps you have. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you click on, and you notice, pegman is still on the screen.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so now you go to your map.
Go in your omnibox to Google Maps. Just start.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Okay.
where you want to open it, where you get to, you got.
Right, so now you see, here's my custom map, and pegman is still there.
Mine too.
Okay? So that is the key thing that you want to do.
So when we go to our regular, the maps we created, the pegman should still be there?
Correct.
Yeah.
If you do it the way I said to do it. If you do it the other way, it won't, it'll disappear, like what happened yesterday.
Mine just do the.
I see it up.
Okay.
Mine
Okay.
is, sir.
Okay, I think you're in a different map version. Do you have pegman down there?
Yeah. But not on my custom.
Your custom map
Okay.
should be in the left corner.
Good morning. Okay, everybody. Since the mountain isn't going to Mohammed, Mohammed has come to the mountain.
How you doing?
And hello in California. Our special guest is here, and we're gonna take a break for this very important talk. As everyone here is anticipating, we have a special guest that's going to talk a little bit about his story, and we want to help his company. This is Frederick Hudson.
How you doing?
Originally from New York. He's the CEO of a very exciting venture-funded company. I will tell you, being venture-funded, probably about 1/100% of all of the businesses that get started up that want to get venture capital financing ever get it. Maybe it's 1 out of every 10,000.
So it's something very special.
It's a really big deal.
Cool.
And so it's very big also that Frederick has his company here in Las Vegas, and it's about, what, 5 blocks away? Did you walk or drive?
No, I drove. I started to walk with
Okay. Okay. So, see, I thought it was hot the other day, but Fred Brewer said, no, I'm a cool guy, so it's cool for me. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift over to this very important thing. And, Fred, you don't mind, you're on live with our campuses in California. Great. Okay, and the whole world through YouTube. Okay, good. Great. So we're going to take a break from this and let Frederick talk about his story, his journey, where he's going, what the business is. I want everybody to be thinking about what we can do to help Pigeonly. There could be internships, there could be opportunities for new classes for programming, there could be just a lot of exciting things. And usually in life, people who have passion and have a commitment, when two people like that get together, there's something called a synergistic effect. So it's 1 + 1 = 3. You get more from groups, and that's fundamentally what Tony Hsieh's whole idea with Downtown Project is, bringing a lot of creative, passionate people, and things will happen that you couldn't imagine otherwise. So unless anybody has any questions for me about Google Maps, we're going to switch over to the more important chat today, more important lesson today, and have Frederick come up and do his thing. So welcome. Glad you made it. Let's see. Wait. We got to make sure you're on the camera. Okay. Let me get rid of this.
So you guys working on Google Maps?
Yeah. Okay, so let me just drop this down a little bit. You do this all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, my name is Frederick. I'm the CEO and founder of Pigeonly. And what we do is we build products and services to help family members stay connected to their incarcerated loved ones. So, the first product we built, actually while I was in a halfway house, is Photo Pigeon. What Photo Pigeon does, it allows people to be able to easily send their incarcerated loved ones photos from their cell phone, tablet, computer. So, for example, when I was in prison, they would be able to do Frederick Hudson and then upload photos from their Instagram, Facebook, or wherever they have them, and then it's automatically printed and mailed, and I would get 4x6 prints in the mail call. So let me back up. So I originally from Brooklyn, New York, raised down south in Florida. I did 4 years, well, almost 5 years in federal prison for distribution of marijuana. So what I would do is get marijuana from Nogales, Mexico, through Tucson, from Tucson to Las Vegas, from Las Vegas, move it to Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, and that went on for about 5 years. It got so efficient, got the federal government's attention. I was indicted when I was 23. Through that experience is when, while I was in prison, I noticed that there was this huge population of people no one was paying attention to. And we all had the same issues. So it was very hard for us to stay connected to our family members. It was very expensive for us to stay connected to our family members. And one of the worst things that can happen to an inmate is isolation. So majority of people that are in prison don't have life sentences, which means they're going to be released at some point in time in the future. And if they lose track, if they lose touch with their families, they lose touch with their support networks, it's very hard to not reoffend when you come back out. When you have nothing and you don't know anyone, it's very easy to go back to what you used to do. So that was one of the missions that I wanted to change and want to bring the barriers down. What I noticed is that the way the prison industry is set up right now, the industry is very... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's what happens when you're excited. In fact, hold on one second. Let's have everybody introduce themselves so Frederick gets an idea of who's who.
Yeah.
I'm Edward Edge. I'm at Casa Grande. I'm from Indio, California.
Okay. That's what
I'm Frederick. I'm from Seattle.
We met.
Yeah. The Seahawks, boy. All season starting next week.
Cody Myers from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay. And you're from
Las Vegas.
Yocourt.
Oh, Yocourt.
Okay.
I'm Matt Tyler. I was born in Utah, but lived here my whole life. Yocourt as well.
Okay.
Shannon Gold, born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada.
She works with the school. She's a school specialist.
I'm Nicholas. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm also in Yokohama.
Cool. Israel. I'm Casa Grande. From Vegas now by way of LA.
Okay.
I'm Caesar Gilford from New Mexico.
David Bird.
Everybody gets pretty simple Chicago.
Right.
I'm Marianne from Pennsylvania.
I'm Malika Tostin from Inglewood, California. I'm also a felon.
I'm Victoria.
Felon or ex-felon?
It's cool, me too. I'm sure.
I'm Victoria. I was born in New York, but live here and I'm in Yokohama.
What part of New York?
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
By Buffalo.
Upstate.
Okay.
I'm Marianne. I'm from Las Vegas and I'm in East Court.
Okay.
I'm Justin West. I'm born in Las Vegas, Nevada, and also in the East Coast.
I'm Jamie. I'm from Sacramento. I've been here 24 years. I'm in the Salvation Army Vocational Program.
All right.
Tony D'Angelo, native Las Vegas, ex-felon.
Deborah Lewis from Jimmy's UDB.
Andrea Peterson, originally from the LA area. Las Vegas now, Hi, I'm Anita Skirka, and I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and Kansas.
My name is Angela. I'm from Inglewood, California, and I'm from Shute.
Okay.
Okay, now we have over here.
Rob Felton from Minneapolis.
Rob is at Casa Grande also, but he is a employee of this school.
Got it.
Jay from all over. Bend, Oregon, recently. Been here 6 months.
Jay just started today.
Cool.
And who's that person hiding back there?
Catherine, I'm an intern, and I got a Cornell High School.
Cool.
Who? Billy's gone. Okay, and we have about 7 or 8 people out for various reasons. Okay, so that's who's here, and then in California.
What about Bill?
Oh, that Bill.
Bill McCune, born in Brooklyn, New York, grew up outside of Philadelphia, near Villanova, where I went to college, and now I'm a resident of Las Vegas for less than a year.
Okay. Flatbush in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn Naval Hospital.
Got it.
Okay, and then there's our campuses in California, but we'll proceed with you.
Cool. So that's how it all started. Just being exposed to that demographic and being exposed to that lifestyle, living it for 5 years, seeing, thinking of, okay, what can I do when I was released to deal with this? I knew I was going to need employment, I knew I was going to need a job. Instead of relying 100% on someone to give me an opportunity, I decided to create my own based on the problem that I saw, trying to solve the problem that I saw. So I was released in 2012, early 2012. I got with my co-founder, buddy that I met while I was in the Air Force, and we founded the company got with a bunch of guys I knew from the streets and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Got $100 here, $500 here, $1,000 here. To date, we've raised $2 million in venture capital. We've went from 2 people to 12 employees full-time downtown, 3 engineers, and full customer service department. And our 2 core products is the photo product, and our second product is a telephone product. So as most of you guys know, the prison phone calls are very expensive. So what we do is that we provide local numbers based on where the inmate might be, so that when he dials home, he'll dial a Las Vegas number, but it'll forward to his mom actually lives in Atlanta, Georgia, or whoever. So similar to how Google Voice works or Skype. But it just makes it very simple for people who are dealing with people who are in prison, who may not have an internet connection, for their families who may not have an internet connection, who may not be tech savvy, to be able to use it and be able to actually simply find their loved one and be able to connect with them. So those are our 2 core products. We have other stuff that we're working on, or at least in the future. But our main mission is to really just solve problems for real people, real everyday life people, whatever problems they may have. So of course the first is something that I personally experienced being locked up. And we have other stuff we'll do in the future.
And right now it's just federal.
Right.
When does state come online?
So we're looking to add state. Nevada will probably be one of the states we add before the year's out. We're starting with the largest states and working our way down. So we're doing California, Florida, Texas, and working our way down from there. Eventually, basically what we're building is the only nationwide inmate lookup that exists. So what happens now is that if someone, I know my personal experience in federal prison, you move around a lot. So I was probably in 8 different institutions over the course of 5 years, going from the high all the way down to the camp. So it's really difficult for my family to keep in touch to find out what address is he at now. They know I'm in prison, they don't know where, they don't know the P.O. box, they don't know any of those things. So what our technology does is that once we find someone, it'll automatically keep track of that person as they move. So whenever your loved one wants to send you photos, it'll automatically go to the right place, regardless of them knowing your address or knowing where you may have moved and all that. Same thing with the phone. As you move, your phone number changes as well. So there'll always be a local for wherever you currently are, so that you always can, take advantage of the savings. So yeah, that's the overall plan. As far as what we look for, as far as employment, we definitely look for people who have computer skills. When I say computer skills, knowing how to use a computer. You don't have to be an expert in a computer, but knowing your way around a computer. Also development. I was talking to him when he came out of the office that, I just think, and I push it very hard, like learning how to program is a huge, huge, huge benefit, because the future, where everything's going to go, that's going to be a core skill. I'm at a disadvantage because I can't code. But if I knew how to code, I would be a huge advantage, because you literally can start a company with nothing if you know how to program. It's very, very cheap. The cost of doing business is very low. And it's the way everything is going. There's going to be very few things you can be doing in the future that's not going to have a technical aspect connected to it. So that's a skill. I would like to see that's something that's offered here, learning how to program, because you can jump off the fence making $80,000. Our developers start at $75,000, they go up to $90,000. And you can make that money just knowing how to do it. So it's a huge equalizer, regardless of your racial background, regardless of your social background. Knowing how to program, nobody cares. If you can program, you basically have job security, regardless of whether you want to work for Google, to Facebook, to Pigeonly, to any company that they have. Everybody has an app. Everybody has some kind of technical aspect. Everybody has a website. So it's definitely a great thing to know how to do.
Fred, how did you come up with the name Pigeonly?
So in prison, it started with when we started with the photo product. It was like we started a messenger pigeon, carrier pigeon. I remember always seeing pigeons flying around. I used to be pissed off that they could fly in and fly out and I couldn't leave, but that's just always see, right? So, but that's where it started. So we started with photo pigeon. We said, okay, well, carrier pigeon, it could bring photos, and then that's how it started. And then when we started focusing on the data aspect of our company, the data that we was collecting and that we was using to power our products, we just dropped the photo and just kept pigeon and just put Pigeonly on it. So that's how we ended up Pigeonly. Then usually all our products have pigeon on it. So the phone product is television, the photo product is photo vision. And we kind of just keep that going forward. Yeah.
You used a term, you said this is an inmate, what, did you say tracker?
Yeah, inmate locator.
Locator.
Right. Right. So what we care about when it comes to products is that the product has to be able to benefit inmates inside at the same time. So I'm not interested in doing something that is someone who just wants to do a background check. I'm not interested in that. We don't make our data available for that. Nor am I interested in something that's just inmate specific. So it has to be something that benefits both for us to do it. And for us to give our data out to someone, it has to be something that also benefits both. So for example, there was a publisher that wanted to provide self-help books for guys that were within 24 months of being released. In our data, we can say we want to target anyone who is this age, and it'll pop up. Everyone who's in prison that's this particular age. We can say we want to target anyone who's within 6 months of getting out, and it'll give us the matches of who's within 6 months of getting out. So things like that, we're all about. But that's just our requirement. It has to be able to benefit both at the same time.
It cost us $5 for a 30-minute phone call. What's the difference in the rate to?
It'll be right around 90 cents, probably for the same thing.
30 minutes?
Yeah. It's a big difference. I could get on a tangent how the phone companies work in prison and get on a soapbox for an hour, but for the short of it is that it's a very monopolistic type of industry, and what they do is they take folks that are in a bad position and they really put them in a worse position because they're the only player. You don't have a choice of what phone provider you want to use. What our goal is, we go around institutions, so we don't directly work with institutions, we deal directly with the family members. So, for example, working with our service is similar to your family saying, okay, I'm going to choose to use Sprint or Verizon. So that's how it works. So we give them a number that's their number, and then they give that to you, and then you dial that number, and then you don't pay that same rate. So it's really just aimed at introducing competition in an environment where no competition exists, which is why they can set prices at whatever they want. So it's kind of the core of it.
So, Fred, if I had 5 people I wanted to call, would I have 5 numbers, 5 new numbers that you would give me?
So each person,
5 long-distance numbers. It'd be 5
right. So each person that you want to dial, they'll have their number just like they do now. So if you have 5 people you call, they just will have a number that's local to wherever you are, that will forward to their existing line, whatever they may have.
I just want to say I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
I spent a lot of time in prison in my younger years there, and it was a real hassle trying to keep in touch with family, and mom not wanting to pay the $10 or $15 click fees. So I really like what you're doing.
All right, thank you.
Really good thing.
Thank you.
So listening to your story, it sounds like you've got that kind of mind anyways, just from how successful you were with your business that landed you in the middle. So this is.
Well, it's not. You don't have to be that smart. Drugs sell themselves. Drugs kind of sell themselves, but it does take a little bit of thought. I don't want anyone to feel like the barriers are high, because it really just takes. I was intimidated by. I've never done anything in technology before, and I was intimidated by it. But what I learned is technology is just a channel. That's all it is. So I can sell these water bottles on the street. I can sell these every day, and I can stand on the corner and sell these. Or I can take a picture of this water bottle, put it on the website, and sell 100 of them every day. And that's all technology is. So you don't have to be intimidated by it. You don't have to feel like it's something that you can't do. It's really just a channel or a distribution channel to do it more. That's really all it is. The only reason why we're a tech company is because our customers just happen to be everywhere. And the only way for us to be everywhere, we need a website. So that makes us that. But don't let it intimidate you, or don't let it make you feel like that's something that you can't do, because it's not. It's not easy, but it's not anything harder than things that you've already accomplished in your lives. I'm sure each of you have accomplished something in your life that was difficult. This is no different. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No. Those are words from a visionary, not from a prison guy. So do you feel like you've moved on to that level, or do you just feel like, oh wow, how lucky I just dropped right into this? It's not the case. It seems like.
Most guys that I met in prison, some of the most intelligent people I've ever met were in prison. Some of the most learned, smart, intelligent, visionary people I've ever met were not on the streets. And it takes a certain level of person to be able to take the risks that I took. It takes a certain level of thinking to be able to do those things. And most of the guys that I met, they were those type of thinkers. We just got the product wrong. We just got the direction wrong. We was doing the right thing in the wrong way. And for majority of the people, or prison, not for killing people, majority of people for economic things that are tied to some sort of economic change that they wanted to do, or something they want to do for their family, or whatever the case may be. That's the majority of it. And for those type of people, you have the basic fundamental principles of understanding to be able to say, well, I'm going to make money, and being that this is the industry that's around me, I'm going to make money in this industry. The idea is, how do you raise your level to a higher level of thinking and say, I'm going to move to this industry over here, something I've never heard of, something that nobody around me even knows about, and I'm going to be bold enough to do that anyway, even though there's no support around me that can talk. There was nobody I can talk to about what I was building, because nobody in my family, surroundings or network did anything like that before. So I just had to be bold enough to not be afraid of failing and try it anyway. I mean, I didn't get everything right. I got a lot of stuff wrong, but I just knew that if I got enough things right, it'll work out. I don't have to get everything right. I just got to get enough stuff right.
Fred, could you talk about how once you did your bootstrapping, then the big break you had of going to the boot camp type thing?
Right. So after we built our first version while I was in the halfway house. We launched that around March 2012, and then I knew I had two strikes against me. First, I was a felon. First, I was a black in technology. So blacks in technology represent probably less than 1% of technology companies in the country. So I knew I was going to have a lot of strikes against me trying to do this. So one thing I did know that I had to do before I talked to anybody was get enough traction or get enough people, get enough customers to prove that what I was doing was real and it was a real business. So we bootstrapped for probably the first year, all the way till Feb of 2013, of just building our customer base, and we just focused on our core product, which was, at the time, the only thing we had was the picture product. So it was very simple. Target inmates, tell them that there's a product that the family can go to send photos. The inmate tell the family to go to the website. The person goes on the website, creates an account, starts uploading photos, and starts sending inmates pictures, and then that completes the loop. And then we just try to get as many of that to happen as we possibly could. We grew to about maybe 1,500, 2,000 paying customers, and we charged 50 cents a print. So we wasn't making millions of dollars. I mean, we was making marginal, $500 here, $600 there type stuff.
So Fred, the thing that the inmate would get would be an envelope with a printed picture in it?
Right. So basically,
not the letter.
No, it was just photos. So it's basically what would happen if your family went to CVS, printed photos out, put it in an envelope, and mailed it to you. That's basically, we just did that in a way where you didn't have to do it. You could just do it right from your phone. That's all. That's the only thing we shortcutted. So we did that for a year, built it up as big as we could, and then I saw this special on CNN talking about technology accelerators. Once again, I've never been exposed to this. I didn't know what that was. When I started looking into it, there was these programs that basically try to find startups or companies that were doing things that was interesting, and then they would try to give them access to resources. They would try to give them access to investors, teach them how to do a business model, help you package what you was doing so that you could present it to the investor community, whoever that may be. So I applied to probably maybe 50 or 60 of them and got denied by all of them, and kept doing it. Once again, just not getting everything right, just getting enough right? So just kept doing it and was able to finally get one called the New Me Accelerator, which is based in San Francisco. They accepted us on the second time. They denied me the first time, and the second time they accepted me. So we went there for 6 weeks.
And it's all paid?
12 weeks, no, you actually pay for yourself. So the way I lived during that time was the photos that we were sending and the photos that the customers that we had and the people that was using our service, that gave us the money to cover our living expenses while we were in San Francisco. I mean, they give you a place to live, so really it's just food and that type of thing, transportation. And basically was able to work with people in the industry, and it basically gave us a cosign that, okay, you should talk to, basically, you can't walk up to, for example, Tony Shea, who's an investor in our business. You can't just walk up to him on the street and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, pitching. You have to get an intro from somebody that might know Tony and can say, this is who, you should talk to this guy, and what he's doing is real. So without that cosign, it's very difficult to be able to get into those networks. They don't respond to cold emails, they don't respond to cold calls, that type of thing. So going through the accelerator allowed us to get that intro and get that cosign and say, okay, well, you send an email and say, okay, yeah, you can at least get a meeting. We'll listen to what you say for 5 minutes. We'll give you 5-10 minutes, hear what you got to say. If we care, if you're able to compel us in those 5 to 10 minutes, then you might get another meeting that might be 20 or 30 minutes with our partners' presence and all that, and be able to present your PowerPoint presentation. You guys learn how to do PowerPoint and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so nobody reads business plans, ever. So that's what they look at. They'll look at a slide deck, maybe 5 to 10 slides, and that's what they're going to look at. Like, they don't even waste your time on business plans because they're not going to read them. So, you put your PowerPoint presentation together, and then you present to them, and then they make their decision on the investment. So as far as investors that we talk to about 50 investors, different investors. There were some investors that I just can't get my mind around investing in a felon. Like, you're a felon. Like, I mean, I just can't see myself giving you any money. Because you give me money, you don't have control. You know what I mean? It's literally, I'm going to put this amount of money in your account, and what you do with it, I can't control it. Like, I mean, they're minority investors, right? So, we was able to get 6 people. So out of 50, so it gives you an idea of how many no's you have to get. Out of 50 people, we have 6 investors. Some of them include Tony and other people from San Francisco and stuff like that. So that kind of gives you an idea of how many no's or how many doors have to close before you find the door that will open. And through that process, we raised our seed round last year, which was $1 million, and that's when we moved here. And then just last March, we raised the second $1 million last March, and then we'll probably raise another 2 like in a couple months. So that's kind of been a progression of how it's gone. So you really it just takes confidence knowing that you're doing the right thing at the right time with the right people, and then regardless of whether things are good or bad, you stick with it. So that's the confidence I had when things were good. That's the confidence I had when things were bad, because I knew I was doing the right thing at the right time with the right folks for the right reasons, and it gave me the strength to be able to stay focused and keep it pushing even when everything was going to hell in a handbasket. So, because it will go to hell in a handbasket. So.
Okay, so if you know somebody in person you want to get in contact or make it easier for them to get in contact with you, how do you go about using your services?
So it's very, very simple to use. So basically, if you want to send them a photo, you'll go to the photopitch.com website, you'll create an account, and then you'll put John Smith. And then when you hit John Smith, all the John Smiths will pop up. And then you pick which John Smith you want to talk to. And then when you click that one, he's added to your contact list. And then you can upload your photos from your Instagram, Facebook, or your device. Okay. And then you just hit send, and that's it. It's very, very easy to use.
And what does that cost?
So we give out 5 free photos regardless, and then after that, every photo is 50 cents a print, and shipping's free.
And then for the phone thing or whatever, when you open an account, you have to put money on there for them to call, or?
So in federal prison, you don't set up, the family doesn't have to set up prepaid accounts.
About the state prison.
So for state, they do have to set up accounts like Global Telelink and things like that. You have to set up the accounts on the outside. So we haven't started with the states yet. We're still in federal. But when we do it, our goal is to automate it. Because one of the things, most family members, it's not that they don't care. It's just that when you have, it's very inconvenient, and you understand. You've been there, right?
I did
so,
like 9 years.
right. So it's not
really
that
hard to stay in touch with
right. It's not that they don't care about you, but when you have a single mother, your mom, or whoever, and they're taking care of the kids, trying to hold it down while you're gone, it's really, really hard for them to take time to go to the post office, buy stamps. Nobody walks around with stamps. Nobody interacts in an analog way. Everything's digital. So when you have people that live completely in a digital world and you have to interact with people that live completely in an analog world, it breaks down in the middle. And it's not their fault. It's just that I can't interact. I can send you a text message, but I can't write a letter. Like, I don't have time for that. So same thing with photos. I can't take time off from work to go to CVS and get something off my smartphone and then make time to go to the post office before they close at 5 when I don't get off until 5, and then get it to mail to you to get it out. So I mean, it's just all those hoops just make it difficult. So we just try to simplify a lot of that.
Do you see your company in the future making it to where you can send like notes and letters and stuff? Like if I wanted to write a letter in text and load it up photo pigeon to where they'll get that letter.
Yeah, the new version we're launching today can do that. So you can add a note with the photos.
Launching it exactly today?
Yeah, it's launching today.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. So everybody, this is a historic day.
Like you said, most people ain't got the time. If you want to send it'd be easier to send a photo with a text.
Right.
Instead of sitting down and writing a letter.
Right. Yes.
Are you currently hiring?
Absolutely. We're always hiring. Right now we're hiring for customer service. We probably get maybe 250 calls a day. And you have people calling for anything from setting up an account to a number didn't work, or such and such didn't get his photos, and just all customer service type of issues. And where we are, being a felon is a good thing, because you understand why we do what we do and who we do it for. I mean, one of our engineers, he's a felon, and he couldn't get hired anywhere else, and we're paying him $80,000 a year because he knows how to program. So that's why I'm gonna say it again: learn how to code. Like it's the easiest way to make good money, regardless of your background. I don't care what you went to prison for. If you know how to program, you can get a job, and a good one at that.
Oh shit, I won't get that. On a daily basis, what social medias do you use?
So we have an outside marketing firm that does a lot of our marketing. So they use, I mean, I'm forced to use like Instagram stuff. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. Like the era I come from, the hustler era, like we don't take pictures and post pictures, right? Like we don't do that, right? So I'm kind of forced to do that now because I have more public life than I used to have. But we have Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and so we have a presence on all those things, and that's a big job as well. We pay someone, I think, almost $4,000 a month to manage those things for us.
Do you have the cloud yet?
So the cloud is this ambiguous thing, but I'll explain what it is, right? Basically,
their core competency is learning the cloud.
Okay.
So that's why we're doing Google.
All right, that's a good. Okay, so good. So basically, the cloud is. You guys went through the basics of what it is and where it is. Okay, so you guys know what it is, right? So
we don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's nowhere. It's nowhere and everywhere at the same time, right? So it's everything that's on your computers lives somewhere at some server somewhere. And for example, when you go on our website, our stuff is in the cloud because we don't have physical machines in our office. These servers are sitting somewhere. I couldn't even tell you where. It's some data center where when you go to our web address, it goes to that server, and that's where everything lives. And most services, and why technology is so cheap and why it's such an equalizer, doing things that are technically or technical type of projects and businesses, is because it's very, very cheap. Back in the days when you want to start a company, you'd have to physically buy bare metal machines and set these things up. Now you don't have to do that. You can literally host something on GoDaddy for like $3.99 a month. That's all it takes. Before you couldn't do that. Before you would have to physically own these machines and then hire somebody that knows how to manage these machines and network these machines and troubleshoot these machines. Now that doesn't exist. So that's so all of our services we use Google everything. So we use Google Docs, which is basically what you guys are learning on Microsoft Word, but it's just the online version.
Docs too.
Oh, you guys! Oh, perfect. So everything we do is on Google Docs. So we use all Google Docs for all our stuff because it's easy for us to share and collaborate. So I'm working on a doc, I can share it with somebody else, they can see it. If I make a change, they can see it. That's what we use instead of having paper and stuff like that.
Calendar.
We use Calendar for everything. So the stuff that you guys learned, those are real skills where people are using in businesses. Like those are real things.
Do you use Google Voice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to see that movie Her? And if you did it have any influence on your future with your company?
I saw parts of it on a plane one day, but I didn't. I caught a little bit like a smartphone that had a mind of its own or something like that, or
an AI.
Yeah. And it had. Yeah. No, I haven't really seen
the
it.
man's job. His job actually has what reminds me of stuff that you are going to be doing or that you are presently taking on.
For me, the way my brain works, I look at problems, and then when I see a problem, I experience a problem, I think to myself, what could I do? How could I make money solving this problem? That's one question I ask myself, and that's what I do with this. Like, I want photos. I'm tired of begging to get photos all the time and convincing people to send me photos all the time and pleading on the phone, why I ain't getting photos? Why ain't you sending me no pictures? I'm trying to do this bid. I need to see something. And how could I solve that problem? Well, let's make it easy for them. The technology's there. There's very few things that you can come up with that the technology can't do at this present day and age. So it's just really...
It makes it easier to check if you got photos.
Right.
Or if you got contact with your family.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You got kids.
Absolutely.
We watched the movie.
All right, I'll check it out.
Did you say have a location here in Las Vegas, or are you located in the other?
Oh, we're based down the street. We're right down the street.
Have you other locations in the other states?
Mm-mm. I mean, you don't need to, right? Because, on the website, I'm everywhere. So, I'm in every state already. So, our physical location is basically a place for us to come and collaborate to figure out what we're going to build, how we're going to build. That's really what the physical location is for. But the day of where you have to have multiple locations, it's really for vanity. It's not really for a real purpose.
You said that you're going to be bringing this product to the state level within the next year. What keeping you from getting into it, or how did you got to go about getting it into the state level?
Okay, yeah. So the core of our business is data. So when we built the photo product, we launched it, I made the assumption that I could simply do a Google search. I knew criminal records were public records, but I made the assumption that I could just go online and just find a list of everybody who's in jail, get their address, and mail them. Because I knew if I could send information to the inmate can tell the family, and the family go to the website. That was the easiest way for me to acquire a customer, as opposed to me spending tons of money on Google or tons of money on advertising on TV or radio, because I have to talk to everybody and figure out which of all the people I'm talking to actually have a loved one that's incarcerated right now. So that didn't make sense. So what I learned was that although this is public record, it's not easily accessible, nor is it's not accessible at all, actually. So you have Federal doesn't talk to California. California's records doesn't talk to Nevada. Nevada doesn't talk to Florida. So you have all these separate silos, all these separate areas where this data is stored, and nobody talks to each other. So what the technology we built was it connects all those dots together so that you can do one search, and it'll search California, Nevada, Texas, and Florida all at the same time. So I can put in John Smith. I'll know how many John Smiths is in California. I know how many John Smiths is in Florida. I know how many John Smiths is in every single state. And what that does is it gives me a list. Now with this list, I can send whatever I want to them. So what we'll do is we'll send out 15,000 pieces of mail, letters with newsletters telling the inmates about current events, what's going on. But it'll also tell them, hey, if you want to get pictures, do this. So they'll get this in the mail. They don't know who I am. They're like, how the hell did you get my information, right? So, but then at the same time, something compelling, oh, I'm going to try this out. And I have my family do it. And then that's how we get a customer. So to expand, to answer your question, is being that all those databases don't talk to each other, being that they're all different. For example, California doesn't tell you when you're going to get released, but California tells you when you was committed. And BOP, it doesn't give you your birth date, but it gives you your age. And it doesn't tell you when you've been committed, but it tells you when you're going to be released. BOP, Bureau of Prisons, Federal. So being that all these things are different, we have to change the software to work differently with each single state, which requires us to write programs for each particular state, then make those programs talk to each other in a unified way. So that's really what, to answer your question, Fred, that's what really slows us down from being able to turn anything on instantly, because we definitely have to tailor it per state. Now, once we have the data per state, then we have to make it so that it knows what numbers to buy. So, for example, if a guy is in Casa Grande, where you are, what's the area code there?
811.
Zip code? Yeah.
Okay, so it has to know to pick up, to buy that type of number for every inmate that pops up with that designation or that location. And then it has to know to buy a different number. For example, I was in Montgomery, and then also in Safford. It also has to buy that if you search Frederick, he pops up in Safford. Don't buy the 8911. Don't buy that number. Buy the 920 number. So it has to be able to know that. So that's what takes the most time.
You use MailChimp, then I'm guessing.
We don't use MailChimp. We use stuff MailChimp similar, but MailChimp is a great service.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to use. Very easy to use, and it's a good one.
We have another thing. We have to go see the judges, but we have a tradition here that we want to share with you.
Okay.
So where is it? Okay. So part of what we do is our students are on Hangouts on Air every Friday, and we have memory stuff for them to do. So this is the book they memorized, and everybody has signed it for you.
Okay.
Except for Sherry and myself. And we'll do this. We're going to present this to you, and then we're going to get a picture with you outside.
Okay.
That's okay. Great. So
I'm gonna be back though. I didn't even know you guys here. I'm gonna be here a lot.
Good.
So y'all be around. Definitely. Yeah.
I'd like to sign it as well.
Okay, absolutely. Does anybody have any quick last questions?
How do you get involved, like, to get hired there?
You run interviews, you can send an email to jobs@pigeon.ly. So jobs@pigeon.ly. jobs@pigeon.ly. So it's not .com, just .ly. And then put here, reference here, just so I see it. I know, okay, that's who that was.
Okay, everybody, let's go outside. Thank you in California.